Hi everybody, Elisa here after a really long break with another New York City alternate side of the street parking episode of Vera Bradley Bag of the Day. The first thing I just need to say is a disclaimer is this will probably be a rambly video because I haven't been on for a while and I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about and I don't have notes. So it's all very random. And as I've said before, that might not be your cup of tea. If it is not your cup of tea, just move along. I don't need the snarky comments about how boring I am or how dull I am or how long it takes me to get to the bags or whatever. Just a little news flash. You're probably not all that interesting too. All the people who tell me I'm boring. It's okay if I'm not your thing, but I don't need to hear about it. Okay. The next thing is I'm thinking about changing the name of my channel so that it's not so Vera Bradley centric because I know I have that feature, Whatever I Want Wednesday, which I don't really take enough advantage of, where I could talk about other things, but I just feel like some people who are coming for the bags and don't like the rambling, maybe I need to change my channel title so that it's a little bit more accurate to what I do, which is ramble. And the reason I ramble is because, well, that's how I am. But also, I've had many viewers, repeat viewers, tell me how they've found my channel helpful when they were going through some kind of stressful thing in their lives, and my channel and my chattering and rambling has been a good distraction for them. And I appreciate them telling me that because I've been going through sort of traumatic couple of years and I'm still sort of in it. And so I can appreciate needing something to distract my mind. And so I'm pleased that I can help people that way. And so I'm going to continue rambling for those people. And then I'm here if they ever need a distraction. And hopefully they're not in that same, stressful space anymore. But I still am. That's also part of why I haven't been making so many videos lately. It's hard to get motivated. When you're feeling not so happy. So I'm thinking about it, about changing the channel name, and I'm working on a list, and I'm going to see what I can come up with that I like. Maybe I won't end up changing it, but I'll still be talking, probably showing a lot of Vera and stuff like that. It's not so much that I want to change what I'm doing immediately or thoroughly. It's just that I wondered if my channel name could be a little bit could more accurately reflect the scope of what I'm doing, which is basically rambling. And I'm not one of those people who just gets to the bag and says it has X amount of pockets and X amount of zippers and whatever. I'm not that person. If you need that, you're in the wrong place. And that's okay. Just move along. You don't have to hear about how boring or deadly dull I am. Okay, so I'm sitting here in my car with Pixie literally on my lap. And this is the second time she's insisted on getting in my lap. It's very windy here today in New York City, and it's chilly. And that might have something to do with it, but it kind of traps me. It makes it a little bit harder for me. And I'm sorry if I'm filming on my iPad and it might be moving around a little bit because of the wind, and I'm sorry about that. It's very windy on the corner where I am because I'm right by the Hudson River. And something about this particular corner and the way that the buildings are positioned really creates a wind tunnel. Years ago, the wind ripped the awning right off of the building, the front of my building. So it gets very strong. The street sweeper did go by, and so he didn't make us move. He's given up, I think, on this block. And I'm sort of sandwiched in between all these doormen's cars, and they know they're not going to move the cars. They're not going to come out of the buildings that move the cars for the street sweeper. So sort of, I'm in I think a lucky spot. So I'm going to try to pull stuff out of my bag, which is over there on the passenger seat, which is where Pixie should be. And I'll just pull random stuff out and I guess sort of talk about it. I did want to mention, and this is for, because I had said to Peggy, hi Peggy, had asked me, I was telling her I managed to go to a factory outlet store a couple days ago, and I hadn't been in a really long time, and I made a bunch of returns. And I got like over $400 back in returns, some of it on a store like credit, like on a gift card, but some of it is just, you know, a straight return to my credit card. And Peggy had asked, how did that go in the store? Because I'm in a couple of Facebook groups about Vera, and sometimes people reach out to me on Facebook directly with questions about Vera when they've had sort of challenging experiences stemming from returns, trying to make returns. And so Peggy had asked me, how did that go? And so I said, well, maybe if I'm sitting in my car and I get motivated to do a video, I'll sort of talk about it, because I was in the store, and this is in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, and again, it's an outlet store, and it's where I tend to do most of my returns now, and they are always great about it. And I tend to have, like the last few times I've been in there, I've had the same woman. She kind of knows me now, but I always go in with a big bag of stuff, because I don't go that often, and so it accumulates. And I always start out by apologizing and saying, I'm sorry, I have, you know, such a lot of returns, you know, all at once, but I don't get to the store that often. And almost 100% of the time will cut me off and say, don't worry about it, it's not a problem. And so she's doing my returns, and I'm chatting with her, and I asked her, I told her that I've heard, and maybe she could confirm this for me or whatever, but I had heard that, you know, people are saying that when they make returns, the stores are sometimes distressed or whatever, because any returns that are made in their location sort of get credited to them, and then that affects their sales figures negatively, and you know, it looks bad for them and can cause problems. And you know, so my first question was, is that the case? And then also, if that's the case, is it better that I take straight cash for my return, or is it less problematic if I accept it as store credit rather than a straight return? So I said, because I'd like to do whatever is better for the store, because I don't want the store to be shut, you know, closed. So she said she appreciated, you know, my thinking that way, but that doesn't matter whether you get it cash or a gift card as your, you know, like store credit. It doesn't matter. Sorry, I saw that truck and I thought it was the street sweeper again. Oh, this guy's gonna have to move. There's a Wrangler double parked across the street. One of the guys who works in the building across the street, and now he's blocking this big truck. I don't want to have to pop my mirror in. I'm sorry for the distraction. Is this guy coming out to move his Jeep? I hope I don't have to stop my video to get my side view mirror in where this truck rips it off my car. Anyway, she said that actually when you make returns, by the end of that day, the computer system is set up to figure out where the point of sale was of that item. And so if you're returning something to a factory outlet store that you bought somewhere else at a different store, by the end of the day, that return will be credited to its original source, you know, location. So its original point of sale. So, because like I was returning something that I had bought at the Disney store in Florida. and it had been, shipped to me. And she was saying, by the end of the day, this return will be credited back to the Disney store. It won't affect us. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that's something new or it's always been that way. She did mention something about online sales, and I can't remember what she said. It's possible that if you buy something online and then you return it at a store, it gets credited to that store. I'm not sure about that. At a certain point, I was sort of like flustered, and it was like a lot of information, and I was also in a rush. So I wasn't retaining everything, which I notice is a problem that I have, and just in general. This guy's not coming out to move his Jeep. And the Wranglers are kind of wide. I mean, I'm in a Jeep too, but my car, I don't think my Jeep is quite as wide as the Wrangler. Okay, anyway, so I thought that was interesting to know. So all people who maybe are hesitating to go to a store because they think, the sales associates are going to give them grief because it's going to affect their sales numbers, that's actually not, this woman was saying that's not the case. Not everything will, not if they can figure out, if the system can identify where the item was originally purchased, the return will be tied to that original point of purchase. So I've heard stories recently, but it's not the first time, about how Vera Bradley is giving people trouble making returns. I have heard numerous stories, all the same kind of story now, at least 5 different women, a handful of whom contacted me directly, all very distraught when this was happening to them, that Vera Bradley has sort of blacklisted them and made problems for them going forward as far as being a customer, not wanting to sell to them anymore, be something at issue with their returns, which they somehow sends up a flag in the Vera Bradley system for suspicious activity, one kind or another. And I believe those women. I don't believe that they are scammers, because to a woman, like I said, they have all been so upset about it and don't understand what's going on. That has not been my experience with Vera Bradley, luckily. But it's a little off-putting when you hear stories like that. It feels like sometimes the customers are being treated like the enemy a little bit, like criminals. It's like when you walk into a store. I've had this happen to me, and and it's always, sort of, it's not just off-putting, it's almost alarming a little bit. But when you walk into a store and a security guard is kind of following you around, so they're sort of treating you like they assume you're going to fuck up. They assume, they assume you're going to rip them off. It's disconcerting. It's weird. It's like Big Brother, something's watching. So I hate to hear stories like that, but that has not been my experience. And at Pottstown, they've always been so great to me. And then she was, after I made my returns, I was walking around shopping, which I think they're getting to know my routine now. They know they're getting that money back. So they're not worried. And then she was, checking up on me, asking me if I was finding everything and I needed everything. So excellent customer service there. And as I said before, when I call the Delaware, there's a store in the Christiana Mall in Delaware, and I always get excellent customer service on the phone. I've made numerous phone orders there, and I've had nothing but good experiences with them. Mostly good experiences when I do phone orders at the Disney store. One really bad experience, and I called customer service and complained about it. But other than that, it's been okay. I really haven't had any problems with people telling me, being resistant to taking my returns in store, even in some retail locations, which are not there anymore, unfortunately. So it was okay. So you know, if you're near Pottstown and you have to make some returns, I would say don't hesitate. Their Pottstown ladies are great. So I was there and I don't have everything I bought. I think maybe I have one thing in my bag. I don't even know if I have one thing in my bag from what I bought there. I didn't buy a lot there. I just went in thinking, well, I want to get the oversized cat's meow throw, and was worried they wouldn't have any more, but they had a whole stack of them, and so I got that. And then they had a cat's meow, I think it was like a large essential backpack or something like that. I mean, I'm not a backpack person. I don't usually buy the backpacks, but it was cat's meow, and it was on the like 70% off table. And so I was asking the woman why, you know, what was going on, that cat's meow was on this, you know, that these backpacks were on this table. Excuse me. And she said they're redesigning this particular backpack, and so they only had like 2 of the cat's meow left. It's not that they're discontinuing cat's meow, just that they're not going to get any more of this version of this backpack in. They're sort of revamping it, and she said it's going to look more like this other one. She gestured to this other backpack, which was in the ultra light fabrication, and it just looked a little bit more bare bones, like it had fewer features, fewer pockets and stuff. And so all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, I gotta get this backpack before it doesn't exist anymore. I'm such an easy mark. Anyway, it ended up being like $38 or something, so I felt like, ooh, I'm getting a good deal, you know, for a backpack. I don't have it here, and the straps were more to my liking. They weren't those big, wide, super wide straps. They were a little bit narrower, and it just seemed to have a lot of nice different compartments and stuff. So maybe, hopefully, sometime I'll show it in a video. But you know, it's cat's meow. So, and then I got a little coin purse in I think it's Vineyard Floral. Is that one that I've shown it before? I think I showed it when I was showing a grand tote or something in a video recently. It's got little birds in it. And I was going like all through the store looking at Vineyard Floral stuff, and it's really hard to find those birds on stuff because they're kind of far apart in the pattern. And now he moves. Now that the truck had to back out of the street and couldn't go by, the guy gets in his Jeep and moves. Now the truck's gone. Those guys in that building are really something. Okay. Anyway, so I've managed to find a coin purse in Vineyard Floral with a bird on one side, so I got that. I know I feel like they're redesigning their coin purse in the factory outlet store. It just felt a little different. It felt like the pouch that the hair accessories kit used to come in. I don't know if they still make that in the factory outlet store. But that's kind of what it felt like. Just had sort of a slightly different shape to it. I don't think I threw that in my bag, unfortunately. Okay, so my bag, which I have shown before, is, God, what's this thing called? I think this is called the Slouchy tote. This is that ridiculous bag with the dual sets of handles up top, the short set and the long set, and the short set gets really in the way when you're using the long set of handles. It has a removable crossbody strap. I've shown this in a video. I think these handles are ridiculous. I was thinking about, I had 2 of these in this pattern, which is Enchantment Blue. Love this pattern. I wish they had made it in more things. I feel like I need all the things in this, and there really aren't enough things that I was looking for. Like, I wanted it in the tablet tamer, I wanted it in the laptop organizer, I just wanted it in so many things, and it didn't come in. So I have a video where I show this bag, and I have 2 of these bags because I had ordered it from the Christiana store and they sent me the wrong one, and so then I called them up and they sent me the right one. So I hadn't returned the first one, and I thought, well, maybe I'll keep it and cut one of the strap sets off. I haven't done that yet. I was thinking about returning it, but I do think I'm going to keep it because it's a good big tote for when you have something tall, because it's very deep. It's not really a north-south bag technically. I mean, I think it's almost a square. It's comparable to the Vera tote, but I feel like it is slightly different. Just a little bit taller maybe. I'm sorry for the rattling. That's the wind, I think, blowing my license plate. God, my iPad is just like waving around. Okay. So I thought this would be a handy bag to take to sit in the car, because I wanted to take my knitting, and my knitting needles are kind of long, and I can't do any knitting because Pixie insisted on sitting on my lap. I don't want to get all her hair in the yarn. I thought she might get off, but she's just moved. She just shifted. But I also had put this in here, and this is kind of tall, and so I thought this bag would be good for it. This is something I just ordered. Oh God, what is this called? I want to say it's like tech sleeve or something like that. A relatively new item for like an iPad or, you know, a reader of some kind. Yeah, that's my license plate banging around. This is a new pattern, Flamingo Garden. Of course, as soon as I see critters, people know me. I'm all about the critters, and so, you know, and birds, love birds. So when I saw this initially, I was like, oh, flamingos, I'm gonna need that, which is, you know, was pissing me off, because I am kind of having mixed feelings about Vera Bradley right now. I'm feeling like I don't want to buy a lot from them. Got enough, and I'm trying to unload some stuff, which reminds me, Victoria, if you're watching, I haven't forgotten. I'm gonna get that list together for you. So, you know, I thought, well, I'll just get an accessory or something in this pattern, and hopefully I won't like it that much, and I won't feel the need for a bag. And then I got this, and I was like, oh shit, because I do really like it. But the more I sit with it, the more I'm feeling like this might be enough for me. You know, a small accessory or something here and there might be enough for me. This was on sale. I don't remember what the sale price was, but it was on sale when I ordered it. And so not only does it have flamingos, but it also has butterflies. You can see them there. That's one there. There's a couple of butterflies in it. My iPad, which I'm filming with, so I can't show this, does kind of swim in this a little bit. This is a little bit big for my iPad, and so if you had a larger, you know, iPad or tablet or whatever, it would probably fit in here. I don't know the dimensions of this off the top of my head. Something about this that I'm not crazy about is that the way it's constructed is this back piece of fabric, this flap. Well, it's attached with Velcro. It closes. It has a Velcro closure. I don't like that. I feel like Morty in Seinfeld. The Velcro, he doesn't like Velcro. That's how I feel about this. It's like every time I have to pull it apart. And plus, you know, eventually over time, lint and stuff is going to get caught in this Velcro. And that kind of bugs me. It doesn't look good. But this piece, what's really the problem for me here with this item is that this flap piece is one piece with the back that wraps around. There's no seam here. The seam is down here at the bottom. So this thing is one piece of fabric. And so when it's right side up here, you open it up, this whole piece is upside down. So if a pattern has a clear direction, this is a problem, especially with big, beautiful flamingos. Like this, to me, is a waste. This annoys the crap out of me. So I didn't know going in that that's how it would be, but I knew it was a possibility. But I said, okay, I'm going to get it anyway, and it'll be my one little thing with the flamingos on it. But this gives you an idea of the pattern. So it is a fun pattern. It's pretty, and the pinks and the yellows really pop. They really advance towards you off of the background, which is the cool blues and the greens and stuff. And so this is, I'm always talking about the color wheel and color palette schemes, combinations, and this is again kind of, you've got the analogous colors of the blues and the greens, and that's together. All those are contiguous colors on one side of the color wheel. They form an arc on one side of the color wheel. you know, blue into teal into green. And then you're picking a couple colors, the pinks, the warm colors, from the opposite side of the color wheel. And so that relationship of complementary colors and warm and cool colors, and especially that they are opposite each other, they enhance each other, and that's why a color scheme like this works. And I had a list. I was trying to straighten up my nightstand where I was keeping a list of video requests that I had gotten, and I feel like I might have thrown the list out in like a cleaning frenzy moment. But I do remember that I only remember this, so I'm sorry if I don't do all the requests I've gotten, because I might forget. I don't know if I'm gonna remember them all. I'll try to find that list, but I do think I might have tossed it. I do remember I did get an interesting request, which was to talk about color theory. That one stuck with me because that's an unusual request, right? Not bag related. And I haven't forgotten that. And I did get out my color wheels. I have a couple of color wheels, big color wheels, and I got them out in preparation to do that. So I will do that. And then the inside of this also is great. And this pattern, they've done some items where this pattern is on the outside. I think it's a small Vera tote. This is a bad. I would have liked a large Vera on this, although very similar to Flamingo Fiesta from the factory outlet store in a way. So maybe not. Wouldn't have needed it, but there is no large Vera, you know, regular size Vera in this. And this is Flamingo Garden. I think this is Flamingo Party. I really love this. Love that sort of shadow leaf pattern in the back, and these flamingos up top without all the busyness of all the different colors of the flowers and the foliage in this pattern. I like this one a little bit better. I think it's more graphic, it's more striking, and the flamingos really read well. And they're cute. You know, there's one with a little bird on its on its beak. There's one with a hat. There's one with a bow around its neck. So I just like that a lot. Flamingo's such a great bird, you know, interesting bird visually. So I'm pleased with this, just in general, you know, because it gets me a little bit of this pattern. But again, I wouldn't buy it again with a pattern I know has an obvious direction. No, I don't like that. What else is in here? Also in here is my, I don't know what this is called. Maybe Love You Lots. I'm not sure what this is called, but this was the heart-shaped cosmetic. It's dinging me. I'm just using it for, you know, cosmetics and stuff. All my crap. In case it's so funny because I'm not a person who really tends to put on makeup in public or anything, but yet I decided to put all like mascara and stuff in here in case I'm ever somewhere and need to put makeup on. So I'm carrying that around like it's something I might someday do. But I also have like tissues and disinfectant wipes and things like that in there. And a turn lock from the factory outlet store. What was this? Merry Mischief Snow Day or something? Love the turn lock. With the Carson cell phone crossbody in the original Merry Mischief. Is my favorite deer in that. I love the deer with the lights and the big antlers. As I always say, slap a deer on something and I will likely buy it. What else do I have in here? I have this, which I think was some kind of, oh God, I don't know what they're calling this. It's from the factory outlet store. It's my picture Dookie. And I don't remember, I've shown this pattern. This was their recent holiday pattern or winter pattern at the factory outlet store. Cannot for the life of me remember the name of this pattern, but I have a video where I show my tote in this, and I do like this pattern. To save my life, could not tell you the name of this pattern right now. This got bunnies. And this quail or pheasant or partridge or whatever this is. I talk about this at the, in my video, and that's sort of poinsettia thing. And this is just has a zipper. I don't know what this is called, this item, but it's got a section that you unzip, and it's got like a little slip pocket in there, and you can put stuff, and then it's got the window for your ID. And this little loop thing, which does not come off or open or anything, but this wristlet like strap. What else do I have in here? I have trapeze cosmetic in what is this? Cloudvine Multi. Love this pattern. And I just put this in whenever I go sit in my car and I'm taking my drink and some snacks and whatever in the morning. I sort of put them in here, just sit the tumbler in here because it's plastic lined in case there's any leak or anything. I won't get like food stuff leaking into my bag. So I have my snacks and Pixie snacks in here. Pixie must have snacks. She must have her snacks. What else is in here? I don't have much else in here. Wait a minute. Oh, well, so I did have this in there. So this obviously is taller than the trapeze cosmetic, but at the bottom does fit into it. So I slip it into it. This is a big tumbler. It's heavy. One's filled up. Turtle Dreams, I think, something like that. I just recently sold my tote in that. I don't know, I didn't like it enough, and I'm feeling like I need to declutter a little bit. So I did sell that one recently, but I'm not selling anymore. I'm probably going to completely delete my Poshmark page. I just decided I had a weird incident with, not with a bag that I sold, but I had a suspicious incident where I sold a jigsaw puzzle, and I just got the sense that it was possible the woman who bought it had damaged it herself and then made a claim. And it wasn't a lot of money, and Poshmark, I guess, since Poshmark couldn't determine, it seemed, I had pictures of the item where it wasn't damaged, when I sold it. So I guess they figured it happened in transit, and so I got my money and this woman got her refund. And so she has this puzzle now. I don't know if she was supposed to return to me, but I'm not sure if she did. I haven't gotten it back. But I haven't been to that address to see if it's there. But anyway, I don't know. It just kind of made me a little concerned. I'm feeling like I've been lucky because I have heard stories like that where people are buying stuff, it comes to them in good order, and then they damage it and claim it was damaged when it got to them. So, which is why normally I videotape everything when I pack it up. But I just felt like, wow, I've been really lucky that I haven't come across a scammer. So I don't know, it just made me feel like I don't want to, with my life right now, or it's very stressful. I have some relationships that are a little bit stressful. Maybe that's a little bit harsh. I shouldn't. I feel like I'm in. I've been through a traumatic couple of years, and still trying to get over that, and dealing with stuff from that, and also being a full-time caretaker for my father. It's a lot, and I just can't deal with anything that goes like wrong. If a package gets lost, if a package gets damaged, I cannot deal. And it really sets me off. Like, I freak out. So I would rather just donate it. And there's a shelter, there's like a thrift store in my neighborhood that benefits people with AIDS, living with AIDS, and I would rather just donate to them. And so stuff that I'm giving some stuff away to friends, and that makes me very happy to do that. And sorry, there's a little bit of stuff going on. Sorry for the city noises. um, and then, you know, that makes me happy. And then if I feel like, okay, this is going to a good cause, if I just donate stuff, that makes me happy too. So, anyway, and people who maybe wouldn't otherwise be able to afford this stuff will, you know, have an opportunity to get something nice for themselves. So, I think that was everything that's Vera in my bag, and this is the last thing in my bag, except for my knitting, which I won't bother pulling out. Was my knitting notebook and stuff. I could pull my knitting out if people are interested, but this is a Coach pouch, and I have been getting a little interested in Coach, although I am trying to really rein in the spending. So it was like a little blip of time where all of a sudden I was like looking at the Coach website and the Coach outlet website, you know, all the time, but I feel like I've broken myself of that habit. Coach is more expensive. And it's not even like a, you know, it's like a mid-luxury brand. It's not even like a real luxury brand, and it's still pretty expensive. This is a pouch. I don't remember what they're calling this pouch, zipper pouch or whatever, but this was a collaboration they did a while back with the artist Gary Baseman, who I think is based in Los Angeles. And he's kind of, he's kind of interesting. He is the artist who coined the term pervasive art, which I like. You know, he coined that term, I think, as an alternative to like a derogatory terms for like lowbrow, what people will call lowbrow art, not fine art, and sort of encompasses, pervasive art sort of encompasses the idea of like combining fine art and commercial art, and the idea that it's more inclusive of any medium. You know, it's many mediums. It's not just fine art mediums, and art should be everywhere. Art should be on clothing, art should be on bags, art should be everywhere. It should be pervasive. So I like that idea. And so these are his sort of cartoon characters that he did for this collaboration, and they have names. I'm not familiar with all the names of them, but I just find them very appealing, this sort of fantasy, whimsical kind of look, especially this blindfolded one here, who I think is called Emmanuel, but I'm not sure. So I was just sort of, oh, light reflection from that car. I was looking on Poshmark, I think one night after I don't know what I was looking for, and a Gary Baseman item popped up, and I thought, what is that? And then I was Googling this they saw that he had done this collaboration a while back with Coach, which of course I missed. But his stuff is rarer when you're on the resale sites. His stuff is rarer. His collab stuff doesn't pop up as often. So when I saw this one, I decided to grab it. And I just have, I think I just have throat lozenges in here. Yeah, I just have my oops. Now I'll never find that one. I'll never find that Ricola. Who knows where it is down in there. Gear shift. Anyway, so that was what's in my bag, and I do, like I said, I did show this in another video. It's a slouchy bag, just one sort of small slip exterior pocket, and then a zip top. I think there's a pocket or two inside. Not as good interior pocket situation as the Vera tote. So anyway, oh, and for anyone who is interested, before I sign off, my knitting. I have found, and I actually did recently join a Facebook group. God, I can't remember what it's called, but it's for people who have spending problems, especially with handbags. And it is helpful to just sort of commiserate with other people about why are we overspending, and how can we break our spending habits, and when we have a setback, and getting group support and whatever. And meant to post about this in the group, but I have found that what helps me, has really helped me curb my spending with the bags and stuff, is taking up my knitting again. And using knitting, like they tell you when you are trying to break a habit, a bad habit, you have to replace the behavior with something else. And have those alternate activities already in your mind, like, so that you don't have to think about it. And so whenever I have an urge, you know, if I want to distract my mind, and I was using online shopping to do that, instead now I pick up my knitting. So I'm sort of obsessively knitting again, which I had been doing on and off for years, and I'd rather be obsessively doing that because I have a shit ton of yarn anyway already, so it doesn't cost me anything anymore. And so it's been a good substitute for when I need to distract my mind from the stress that I'm trying to deal with in my life. So I would suggest that I know a bunch of us are always making our videos and wondering why we buy so much and how can we not buy so much, but yet we're still buying so much. And that's my tip, is find a behavior that can replace that, you know, habit. It's like for a smoker, right? When you feel you want a cigarette, you have to have that other behavior already. What do I do when I'm triggered to do my bad habit? I have to immediately go to my other, have a few alternate behavior, alternate activities at the ready that you can do, a way to redirect your mind. So for me, the knitting has been working, and I haven't been buying as much. Now I'm just trying to get rid of stuff. Anyway, that was my rambling, potentially boring for some people, video back in my car, and hopefully it won't be so long in between this video and the next one. And hopefully I'll get this one loaded up fairly quickly. It's always spotty. My apartment building seems to be like a real dead zone. Anyway, I appreciate people who stay with my channel, and the people who do like my rambling, the people who come for my rambling. Here it is. I appreciate everyone, and thanks so much for watching, and hopefully see you next time on Vera Bradley Bag of the Day, or whatever I might be calling it.